From the wondrous STB Mania Studios here in beautiful Southern California, I am STB Mania, coming to you not live, but in a recorded video that I did, last week, which I was supposed to have posted already. This is Minecraft on the STB Mania realm, on the STB Mania YouTube channel. I hope you enjoy this colorful commentary of gameplay that I did, which I was not feeling uh, that great at the time, so I didn't stream, but I wanted to do a little bit of content, and we're going to get this to you here now so that you can watch this before my next Minecraft stream gets uploaded. So I hope you enjoy. But basically, what I was trying to do in this session was seek out those elusive sniffers. An ancient creature that once lived thousands of years ago, before when the previous inhabitants of this land once thrived. They're a very curious creature, and not much is known about them. Uh, so there's my little act for you right there. Hope you enjoyed. Hope you enjoy that. So essentially, I'm just flying right now, trying to figure out where to find these eggs. It's a little tricky, but essentially what you need to do is you need to create a brush, because the sniffers are part of the archaeology update that they did. Now here I'm going to skip through here as I'm searching in the wrong spot for sniffer eggs. If you want to get sniffer eggs, you have to go to a warm climate. So here I found a ruin, an ocean ruin, and I thought, oh, this is, maybe I can find them here. I didn't quite realize that, no. So then I did figure that out, so I kind of skipped through here. But essentially, you do need an ocean monument, or not ocean monument, ocean ruins. But it has to be in a tropical or a warm climate. There's a couple of different ocean biomes that have these ruins, but it is going to be a sandy area, so not gravel. Unlike the other ruins you can unearth, in some biomes you can find some terracotta sticking up above the ground. Those are ancient ruins that you can go in, and there's some gravel blocks that have like a cracked pattern in them. Those you can brush them away and find artifacts, but you won't find the sniffer eggs there. Instead, you have to find the right underwater ruins. So now I'm flying. And, ooh, there's an ocean monument over here. Pretty cool. I'm gonna skip through, kind of going through here. Bop. Um, it's nice to find another ocean monument, I'm not gonna lie. So here we've got sand. So now I'm kind of going in the right direction here. For the sniffer eggs, if you're not sure if you're in the right biome, if you're underwater, you find some ruins, but you're not sure. If the ruins are in gravel, you are in the wrong spot. They're always going to be sandy. Basically, the best way, I would say, is to go to a coral reef area. That's the easiest way, but I do think there's another warm climate ocean biome you can go to where doesn't have coral reefs, but still has the ruins. As you can see by the position here, I'm almost 4,000 blocks away from my spawn point. So, pretty far away. Let's see, I'm under the water now. Again, we're seeing more gravel. So, a mix of gravel and sand. No, that's not quite right. But I thought I was onto something here, because this is mostly sand, and I thought, okay, well maybe I'll be able to find some ruins, but I couldn't find any ruins. It is possible that you could find a sandy floor that will have ruins. And whether or not the sniffer eggs are going to be available, it just depends on what the climate of the biome is. So warm water is what you want. You want warm water. So if you're in an ocean biome, but the water is not warm, and you can tell by the color on of the water on the surface, if it's kind of a light color, a lighter color, then that's a warm biome. So I finally kind of figured out that not quite where I want to be. I did spend a lot of time in different biomes under the water looking for the sand that you can brush. And so it did take me some time. I had to go pretty far just to get the sniffer guys. And then now I think you can kind of should be able to tell that the water over here looks lighter. This, a biome like this could possibly have ruins, but I wasn't able to find any ruins, I believe. But I saw a lot of kelp. I thought, okay, sandy bottom. Maybe there's something good down here. And, we're going to find out pretty quick. Not quite. But I got pretty close. Lots of fish. There's lots of seagrass. But again, all it does is jungle over here. Oh, this is a pretty cool detour to what I was trying to do. I found a bamboo jungle, and there was a surface lava over here. I always like finding those little surface pools of lava. It's pretty cool. I'll probably have to come up with a project to use lava in a decorative way. I think that would be, for the right project, that would work pretty well. So I was like, well, I don't know if I should keep diving or what. I did have to look up exactly, you know, what, eventually I did look up what I needed. Where I could actually find the eggs, and I thought I was so close here because this is all sand on the bottom, but I couldn't find any ruins. So finally, we kind of moved a little bit farther, and I found, I think this is where I find the coral reef, so I built a boat. Because I thought, oh, this will be easier to find the coral reef if I just... Okay, row. So I didn't quite find the coral reef yet, but I thought, this way I can look down. I don't have to keep swimming and resurfacing. And you can really see a lot of kelp rising to the surface. And then, oh, hey, what's this over here? This is the coral reef. So I finally found it. Now I needed to find the ruins. And the ruins are kind of tricky to spot down here. So if you find an ocean biome with the coral reef, and again, you can tell that the water looks lighter over here. See, the water looks different than it does in this climate. This is the warm weather climate. But like I was gonna say, if you once you find the coral reef, yeah, you just kind of move into the biome quite a bit, and to, you know, maybe around the middle-ish area, and then just dive in, because the ruins are not going to be easy to find. Thankfully, there's a lot of lighting underneath the water because of the pickles, the sea pickles. So that can help you locate a ruin area. But right now, I'm just kind of trying to decide, okay, where should I stop the boat and just dive in? Because, you know, I've got land, I've got some islands around here. I just wasn't really sure. You can see that some of the coral sometimes can stick up above the water. At this point, though, yeah, I'm going much farther into the coral reef area. I think that's the best way to go. And I'm, oh, I'm really far from spawn. This is also a great place to get tropical fish, too. If you got those oxalatos? I can never say that. I can never say that word right. So I'm keeping going. I'm along the surface. This is a really cool area because there's a lot of mesa biome around here too, which is I think is a very pretty place. In fact, it was during this session that I found a really neat valley, Mesa Valley, and I took a picture of. Probably want to build a castle or a fortress there or something, because it looks really nice. And but yeah, I was still going. Now it's important that once you do find some ruin, because see, look at this water. This is really a beautiful colored blue water. Now here, it's not a good spot. This is all gravel. So that's why I'm kind of skipping through here. So I realized, okay, I went too far. I need to kind of come back in here. And so we're going to skip through a bit till we get to the point where I finally said, okay, I think I'm in the right, in a good spot. Let's start exploring. Any second now, I think. But you can see a lot. Look how vast this coral reef is. I mean, I don't know if you call it a coral reef, but it's a huge underwater coral filled area. And actually, you can see right there, I finally found a ruin. So it probably bet because if you're it's shallow enough that you should be able to see the ruins from a boat. And because of the pickles, it'll light it up too. Now, once you find this location, you can just kind of stay underwater. In fact, if you have a conduit, you could build a conduit around here. That would make it easier. I didn't think to do that. Let's see. So here in the sand, you will find some of the sand blocks will have like cracks in it. I'm trying to look. It's kind of hard to tell, but it's gonna. If you look close enough, you will eventually find. And I have my brush at the ready, but I'm trying to see I couldn't tell if there was any blocks to brush because it's not a very obvious. It's just a little kind of a darker, cracky texture. I'll find one eventually. And sometimes it's hard to even tell if you see one. It's really dark down here, so it's hard to. And then I got attacked. That's another thing is that when you're doing this, you're gonna get attacked by drowned zombies. And that happens more often than you'd like. So yeah, I'm looking, I don't see any sand. Like, I'm just trying random blocks now. Because I just didn't quite have the visual what they look like. So I think I decide to go look for another ruin. But that's what the ruins will look like. So most of these ruins should have some sand blocks that you can brush away. That's not one. Almost looked like one. Sometimes you have to kind of go around. I'm getting kind of frustrated at this point because I don't think I see any. And I don't want to start digging sand because I don't want to accidentally dig a block that has an artifact in it. Because if you do that, you'll destroy the artifact. So, yeah, at this point, I'm like, maybe I'll go look for another ruin. I don't think I see any there. Let me sail a little bit more. But that's basically where you'll find the eggs. or at least you have a chance to find them. Now, the eggs are a rare find, so it's not like you may go to a ruin and you may not find any. So I'm looking down there. I'm like, okay, maybe I can find another ruin somewhere. So I'm kind of looking around, trying to see if I can find any more lit up areas that are ancient ruins. And sometimes it's kind of hard to tell because you see the coral. I mean, they're very easy to spot, and the ruins can kind of be camouflaged in there. So now I'm going down and I'm looking. I think I was just kind of curious about. Oh, okay, now there's some interesting formations of coral. So on to the search. It's such a vast area, so I wasn't too worried. I thought, well, this is such a big area. I'm probably gonna come across more ruins. And look, I think I found one right there. All right. And I think maybe this one will give me better luck. And as we look around, we should... Oh, I got attacked again. Oh, I really think if I were to do this over again, I would have built a conduit. Yeah, I had to swap out my armor because there's no point in flying. Alright, let's see. If we look around here, I think I found one. And you should be able to see, it's very subtle. But that one right there is one. Right, see? It kind of looks cracked. It kind of has a cracked looking texture. I'm finding some shards of pottery. There's one right there. I think I just went past it. I have to get up to get air. But that's what you do. That's kind of what it looks like. If you want to pause or rewind and go back, I'll show you more though. I did quite a bit of archaeology digging down here. And I think Oop, let's see if I get, yeah, see there's one right there. It's to the left. And I think it's okay to dig if if you can visually tell, okay, this is just sand, but you got to be very careful that it's kind of funny, there's one right behind me and I'm not even, yeah, it's right there. Do I see it? I think I see it. Okay, there we go. And what's this? It looks like a tool, iron axe, pickaxe. All right. So hopefully that uh, helps you a lot to visualize, okay, what do the dig spots look like versus just regular sand? Because it's a very subtle change in texture, and it's so easy to, especially with the gravel, it's so easy to accidentally destroy an artifact. When underwater, it's not as bad because you're going to be on top, like, so you're going to see surface sites to dig, and I just went past one. I just missed one. When you're doing the gravel, it's a little harder because you're not underwater. I think it's easier to destroy because you might end up at the bottom of a site or in the middle. And if you remove sand or gravel that's a block lower than a dig spot, it'll destroy that artifact. So that's why you really want to go top down. That's ideal. In this instance, I don't think I destroyed any artifacts. So, but you can see on my tool belt there, I've got a pottery piece. So far, I'm not finding the eggs, but I'm finding, some interesting stuff. And I really do like the pottery that you can do. You can make a pot with 4 sides, or just 2 sides, or just 1 side, or like however you want to do it, depending upon how many of those shards you find. Oh, this is the mother lode here. Yeah, there's another, I think that's a tree. And this is a gold nugget. you'll find mostly just random things. Like here's an emerald. I thought that was an egg at first. I was so excited, and it's like, oh, it's an emerald. But the pottery shards are probably the most unique, most rare thing you're gonna find, and you can only find them in dig sites. The eggs too are only in these sandy dig sites, so I don't think there's not a lot of unique things really that you're gonna find. It's just basically the pottery shards. But it would be cool if they added, like other things too. But this was a really good location. And now you can say, I have 4 of those. Here's another pottery shard. 5 of them now. And it's fun because you can make those, you can take those shards and you can make pots with designs on them and things. And there's a lot of customization you can do with that. You could even make a pottery shop if you wanted to. And of course, it's also good to dig because see, look, and you find a brush spot. I think that's a piece of coal. So it's fine to dig around once you've cleared an area out of the special sand blocks. You can kind of start digging a little bit, but always dig top down to be safe, and be very careful. Make sure that before you start digging out sand or gravel that you've cleared out all the spots that you can brush. I think there's one I just revealed. Oh. And it's okay if you get interrupted. I think it does sink back into the sand now. There's a wooden hoe, which I think is probably still floating out there somewhere. Unfortunately, there's going to be a lot of not really useful things that you're going to find too. It's just kind of part of the process, and you have to be patient. Nice stuff, though. I don't know if it's possible you could probably find pottery shards some other way. I think right now mostly you have to do the archaeology stuff, but it would be interesting if there was other ways to get these shards. But there is a special shard that you can get from this archaeology here. See, now I'm thinking, oh, maybe wasn't sure if that was a brush spot or not, because sometimes it's hard. It can be really hard to tell. All of this is just normal sand blocks, dude. I think I need to move to another location. I'm pretty sure at this point I've gotten all the easy spots. And I don't think... it's possible there could be more dig spots over that area. Here's one right here. And no, I'm still getting wheat. I think the eggs have a pretty low spawn rate. Or drop. I don't know if you say spawn rate or drop rate. And then what's this? Okay, it looks like another piece of coal. I'm like, come on, man. Then I had to drop some stuff because my inventory got full. Always carry a bundle with you. I think that's a good thing. I have a bundle with me. Maybe at some point, I don't remember, but I think at some point I do start putting stuff in the bundle. But I always tend to carry an empty bundle around because it's lightweight, You could put quite a bit of stuff in there. Also, I have an enchantment on my boots that lets me walk on the ocean floor like I would normally walk. So it's quite a useful enchantment, especially for this. And then here, this is such an interesting coral reef area. I'm looking around. I'm like, come on, there's gotta be. But there's a lot of ruins down around in this in this part of the world. Like there's another one right there. Oh yeah, this is kind of a little frustrating part here. I kind of started wondering, oh, I think I might be in trouble. But obviously, I'm not taking that much damage. I've got pretty good armor. And then eventually I'm like, what do I do? And then I found a brush spot. What is that right here? It's an egg. I saw, at first I was going to dig it out and I thought, oh wait, no, it's a, I can't do that. It's a, I got to see what's in the sand first. And it happened to be my first sniffer egg. And boy, wasn't that fun to find. I was like, oh, finally. And I was starting to get a little worried because I thought, oh, it might take a while for me to get a second egg, because if you want to breed the sniffers, you need to get 2 eggs. So it can take a long time just to get the 1 egg. And I was hoping, oh, I hope it doesn't take me that long to get the second egg, but at least I was halfway there. Once you have 2 eggs, then you can hatch the 2 eggs, and then you can start breeding them. But you have to wait till they become adults, obviously, and you have to let them find the seeds, because what happens is the sniffers will sniff the ground. They'll put their faces in the ground and they find the seed, and then they pull the seed out of the ground. And there's a special kind of seed that you need to breed them. I think it's a torchlight seed. I think that's what it's called. That means that it takes a long time to breed them, because once they become an adult and they find the seed, it's like 8 minutes before they can find another seed. But they won't always necessarily find this torchlight seed. Sometimes there's 2 different seeds that they look for. So they're gonna find one or the other. And look at that. I found my second egg so close. So soon after the first egg, and I was like, yes, I am done. Get me out of here. So I did kind of go around the top of the ocean surface here and just see if there's anything I wanted to pick up that I missed. Maybe some XP, some shells. And I did that before I got back into my boat. There's a seashell. Always, I still collect the seashells. I have a few conduits now, but you never know how much you're gonna need. I'm prioritizing the item I want. Okay, so now we've kind of skipped ahead, and I'm gonna kind of show where I decided to put the sniffers. So the first thing is you need a moss block. Although you could do it without moss, but they breed faster they hatch faster on these blocks. You have to put the egg on top of the block, and that little green shimmer thing lets you know that the eggs are in the process of hatching. And yeah, so I did use the bundle to make some room. A little late, but whatever. And then, of course, because these creatures are very hard to reproduce, and especially at the early time, it's it's very much a good idea to enclose them in a safe space. So what I did now is I came in here, gathered some wood, and I made some fences, and then I just kind of built a preliminary fence around the eggs here. Because obviously I didn't want them to go wander around wherever they wanted to. And then what I do eventually end up doing is I build a roof or a ceiling to protect them from lightning strikes, because I do get thunderstorms in this biome. And the last thing I want to happen is to have one of these sniffers get killed by lightning. Um, Especially at this point, because I only have the 2 eggs. Now I think it takes about 20 minutes for the eggs to hatch. I can't remember. It might be 10 because I'm using the moss. So right now, that's what I'm just doing, is designing the cage. And then we're going to skip ahead. Okay, now we got the fence all in there. I started moving some of these lights. You'll notice when you do this that there's different stages of the eggs. I think there's 3 stages. There's unhatched, and then there's just 2 cracked stages, and then they hatch. And you might be able to see in the corner there, one of them just hatched, I think. I wasn't paying enough attention. But yeah, they hatched out of... Unfortunately, we don't get to see them hatch, but I think one hatches, and if you rewind this, you can probably see at least one hatch off in the left corner of the video. But that's what they look like as babies. And that's basically how you get the sniffers. Thanks so much for watching. If you like this video, please like and subscribe to my channel and ring that bell if you want notification when I post new content. I post new content on YouTube several times a week. You try to usually do about 3 times a week. Um, but yeah, I appreciate y'all, and have a good one. We'll see you next time.